a battle-hardened warrior forged and trained to track, confront, and slay the most terrifying creatures ever to walk the earth. Far from his comrades, one such hunter is violently torn from his team when their ship is ambushed beneath the waves by Diablos, a monstrous horned beast of the deep, a subterranean nightmare that erupts from the earth and sea with unrelenting fury. Meanwhile, in the scorching heart of the desert, United States Army Rangers, Captain Artemis leads her elite United Nations security team on a desperate search for a missing squad of soldiers. Their mission takes a fateful turn when they link up with Lincoln, a determined operative also hunting for Bravo team. As they press forward together, a massive, unnatural storm suddenly appears on the horizon. They race to outrun it. Ancient headstones buried in the sand begin to glow with eerie, otherworldly light. Trapped at a dead end, their vehicle plummets off the edge of a hidden cliff. When they regain their bearings, the team finds themselves no longer in the familiar desert, but in the middle of a vast, blinding white wasteland, stretching endlessly in every direction. There, Captain Artemis spots the missing Bravo team. What she finds is a scene of horror, every soldier lying lifeless on the pale sands. As her team searches desperately for answers, piecing together the brutal mystery of what happened here, nothing seems to make sense. Sensing the growing despair in her soldiers, Captain Artemis lifts her voice and begins singing an old military cadence, strong, defiant, and proud, a rallying song meant to steal their hearts. As the team presses deeper into the unforgiving white desert, a lone hunter descends from the rugged mountains, urgently shouting a warning. But before he can finish, the ground trembles violently. Diablos has returned. The soldiers open fire in a storm of bullets, yet the barrage is useless against the armored behemoth. With terrifying speed, the horned monster burrows beneath the sand and erupts beneath their vehicle. In the chaos, it seizes the soldier known as Steel, sacrificing himself so the others can escape. Seeking shelter, the team takes refuge inside a dimly lit cave. Captain Artemis is suddenly stung by a massive scorpion lurking in the shadows. In an instant, the cave comes alive with hundreds of the deadly creatures swarming from every crack and crevice. Panic erupts. They flee into the darkness. In the midst of the chaos, the mysterious hunter reappears, fighting fiercely to protect them. When Captain Artemis finally regains consciousness, she awakens, trapped inside a thick silk cocoon. These nightmarish creatures fear the daylight and only emerge under the cover of darkness. Fighting her way out, she discovers Lincoln nearby, badly wounded. With courage and resolve, she sets the writhing scorpions ablaze, creating a blazing inferno that lights up the cave. On the mountain's peak, Captain Artemis picks up a heavy stone and hurls it into the canyon below. See if the monstrous Diablos still lurks beneath the sand. Climbing higher toward the mountain wreckage, Captain Artemis suddenly finds herself locked in fierce combat with the mysterious hunter. The brutal exchange ends when the hunter lands a powerful kick to her head, dropping her hard to the ground. Instead of finishing her, he carries the unconscious captain to a hidden, secure cave. Under the flickering light of a small fire, he tends to his own wounds in silence. At first light, Artemis regains her senses and strikes, knocking the hunter out cold. When he awakens, the tension between them explodes. Old suspicions and raw emotions surface as they clash once more in a fierce personal struggle. Their loud confrontation echoes through the mountains, drawing the deadly creatures out from the shadows. In the heat of battle, it is Captain Artemis who saves the hunter's life, turning the tide at the last moment. She offers him what little food she has left. The two warriors finally lower their guard. In return, he shares his precious water. A fragile understanding begins to form between them. Determined to recover her armor, Artemis prepares to head back into danger, but the hunter warns her against it. He suggests a smarter plan, poisoning the armor to turn it into a deadly weapon against their enemies. To make it work, Captain Artemis boldly offers herself as bait, standing exposed while the hunter carefully extracts lethal venom from the giant scorpions. Later, inside the dimly lit cave, the unlikely pair sits together. As the fire crackles softly, they begin to share fragments of their pasts, their losses, and their reasons for fighting. For the first time, a quiet bond of respect and trust grows between the battle-hardened captain and the lone hunter. Their final, most dangerous journey into the heart of the unknown awaits. The hunter and Captain Artemis waste no time preparing for the final confrontation. He carefully straps the lethal scorpion venom to the tip of his strongest arrow while they set a cunning diversionary trap far across the dunes, a desperate gamble to lure Diablos away and buy precious time to reach the storm-swept mountain. But the monstrous beast is smarter than they anticipated. It senses the deception and erupts from the earth with thunderous fury, rapidly gaining on them. The hunter draws his bow and fires the poisoned arrow, burying deep into Diablos' eye. Captain Artemis levels her RPG and fires, the explosive round slamming into the monster and slowing its rampage. With the beast weakened and thrashing, she charges forward, fearlessly leaping onto the colossal creature. In a final brutal act of defiance, she drives the hunter's own sword deep into its skull, ending the reign of terror once and for all. From the fallen giant's thick armored hide, Artemis fashions a makeshift carriage strong enough to carry the exhausted hunter across the endless white desert. As they travel, the ominous storm finally begins to pass. Golden light breaks through the clouds. The hunter, regaining his strength, rises to his feet once more. Together, the warrior and the captain press onward until they reach a remote island, a rare sanctuary surrounded by calm waters. For one fleeting precious moment, they stand together in silence, simply trying to survive without the shadow of another attack, allowing themselves a brief breath of peace in a world ruled by monsters. That night, a massive stampede thunders across the land, driven by the terrifying presence of Rathalos, a colossal fire-breathing wyvern whose roar shakes the heavens. Suddenly, the fury of the admiral erupts from the shadows, a formidable and unpredictable force. Captain Artemis turns to thank the admiral, only to be struck unconscious by a sudden powerful blow. She awakens locked inside a cold iron cage, yet just as she begins to escape, the admiral returns and frees her himself. In the flickering firelight, he reveals the truth. The legendary Sky Tower was constructed long ago by the first ancient civilization, a gateway built to travel between worlds. The monsters were never random horrors. They were deliberately placed as eternal guardians to protect this sacred bridge between realms. He agrees to join forces with the admiral and the hunter to hunt down and slay the mighty Rathalos. Only by defeating the fire wyvern can she hope to activate the tower and find her way back home. Captain Artemis, the hunter and the admiral set out on a perilous journey across the monster-ridden lands toward the legendary Sky Tower. As they finally reach its ancient steps, a deep, thunderous roar echoes from above. The mighty Rathalos is near, the fire-breathing wyvern, king of the skies, circling the tower like a living storm of flame and fury. Without warning, the colossal beast unleashes a devastating barrage of fire upon the crew. The admiral charges forward boldly to distract the enraged wyvern and draw its wrath away from the others. As the battle erupts in full force, the team fights head-on with everything they have. Ancient stones around the tower begin to glow with brilliant, pulsating light. The portal to Earth slowly awakens, tearing open a pathway between worlds. In the chaos of combat, Captain Artemis is thrown off balance and falls through the shimmering portal, vanishing from the new world and tumbling back onto Earth's soil. She finds herself surrounded by the thunder of rotors and engines as military cavalry units rush to her side. Medics immediately attend to the battle-worn captain, but the portal refuses to close. Before anyone can react, the massive Rathalos bursts through the gateway, emerging into our world. With apocalyptic rage, the fire wyvern unleashes pure devastation, smashing vehicles, scattering soldiers, and tearing through the battlefield like a force of nature. In its wrath, the monster collides with a low-flying plane, sending the aircraft crashing down in a spectacular explosion of fire and twisted metal. Weakened and exhausted, Captain Artemis rises once more with every ounce of strength left in her. She stands her ground and slows the raging beast just long enough. Through the still open portal, the hunter slips into our world like a shadow of vengeance. With perfect precision, he delivers the fatal shot, ending the Rathalos' reign of terror once and for all. In the brief, uneasy calm that follows the Rathalos' defeat, the sky darkens once more. Another flying monster, the fearsome Gormagala,